Hello, today we're going to be looking at Human Nature. Now this book, I absolutely love it, but I had to get the history collection version, because the other one's very hard to track down. But at least you get the story, and the actual author does leave in a few things to tell you what it was like at the time. How did you get in my room?
The one important question is, how didn't you notice?
Good point. Have you read Human Nature?
I love it, yes.
Oh, well, I've got a code review for today then. I didn't tell you. Human Nature. And first things first you gotta know is the companion, Bernice Summerfield. Bernice is Bernice. If you thought Ace was awesome, Bernice is a step up. Ace will always be my favourite, but Bernice is the person who went, fuck it, I'll have my own adventures with Blackjack and Hooker. In fact, forget the TARDIS. What, this is the woman who slept with an ice warrior?
Ace slept with Savalon Glitz, but you're not bringing that up.
Do you want to picture Savalon Glitz naked?
Ugh.
Exactly. Her husband died. Like they do. So while she's mourning and the doctor's trying to figure out how to mourn as well, the doctor decides, Beckett, I'll become human, and goes to the black market.
Now, it's not exactly clear why he does this at this precise moment in time, but we find out later he's being chased by a family of alien beings who are wanting to become Time Lords. They ingest other races and can literally become them through genetic manipulation. So if they have the power to absorb a Time Lord's power, they can produce more unto themselves Time Lord hybrids, meaning which they could repopulate their race and take over the universe.
Of course!
I said universe, not world.
I was the supreme ruler of the most foul empire in the universe.
That's better.
So where does the doctor go to escape his troubles and become human for a bit? Edwardian England.
Of course.
Yeah, like you do. And becomes a teacher.
Yes. That's never been done before, has it? And guess what super secret alias he uses? John Smith.
Now you might remember Human Nature being adapted into the episode. Martha was the maid. What was Bernice doing? Getting drunk mostly.
The first instance Bernice has coming across the family of aliens is when the 10th Doctor turns up. No, not that one. His companion is a diminutive little cannibal girl who eats dead sparrows.
Gross?
She doesn't believe it's really him for a second and promptly runs away.
It's not. It's our good friend Green Eye. How do I describe Green Eye? He is the most fun member of the family, and he will kill, eat, and rape you. In that order.
His servants of choice for his mission to take over the world, then universe, are a bunch of animated scarecrows. Yes, it was done in the TV episode as well. However, this isn't the first time they've been used in the Doctor Who canon. In the bridging comic between the end of the second Doctor's adventures and the third Doctor's adventures, he is exiled to Earth, still in his second body, but becomes a TV personality. The Time Lords, growing angry at this, send animated scarecrows to literally drag him off a TV set into his TARDIS and shoot him point blank range, forcing him to regenerate.
The Doctor doesn't like scarecrows, I guess.
Nope.
Somebody get Jonathan Crane. Ah, Timmy. I hated you in the episode and I like you in the book because you go fecking insane. Okay, so he's got the thing that managed to turn the Doctor back into himself. But while he's got it, and before John Smith can get it, he kind of goes loopy, starts wearing flowers around his head and walking into firing practice. Oh, and then he dies. He gets better. No, I'm not kidding. The other boys, being a bunch of absolute prats, hang him out the window. When they pull him back, he's got no heartbeat. And I'm not kidding, say, he's not dead until I say so.
And being Edwardian England and a bunch of white schoolboys, they blame the black kid. That's not a joke.
No. Racism is rampant in this. But luckily he wakes up. God bless you, Book Timmy.
Rocastle, the headmaster, is quite a different character than he is in the TV show. In the TV show, he comes off as an insufferable prick who is actually a coward and doesn't want to fight in the war. In the book, he is far, far different. He is brave beyond all regard. He storms one of their bases and blows one of them up with dynamite strapped to his chest. He dies a badass.
And you know that line he says in the episode where he's fought and used his friends as cover? It gets worse than that. This man wasn't allowed to see his wife and child as they were in the coffin, because they deemed it too horrific for him. He gets a lot more in the book, though oddly I'd argue that he's actually the closest to his TV counterpart.
With a little adjustment of his personality, yes.
How do the Smiths work out? 10 Smith is every fanfic writer's dream. Sylvester Smith has a bit more depth. In fact, one of the most important things to distinguish is how 10 in the actual episode says that he can be Smith. 7 flat out states he's nothing like Smith. Smith is just a combination of every human he's ever known. In fact, he even says Barbara was his teacher at one point. His fake memories, I kind of like that.
Yes, from what we have deduced from his character in the books, he's using his combined experiences from his companions to try and live and act as a human. He does this good in some ways and bad in other ways. His morals and ethics are mixed up so much with different ideas, it's hard to tell what his main function is. For instance, he doesn't want to punish one of the boys, and yet he tells them that the soldiers deserve to die in the Roman period because they raped Boudicca's daughters. Quite graphically.
This is a man who doesn't pull punches when he teaches. He knows the history, and he will tell you damn straight, there is no good or bad, there is grey.
One thing that wasn't present in the TV episode was the character of Alexander, the labour union worker, a gay character in this time period. He masquerades around as a womanising rabble-rouser. His lover, on the other hand, is busy away from town. They have a happy ending. However, there is a very disturbing part in the book where he discovers Bernice's time journals and reads future papers from the First World War, where he sees his lover's name and promptly downs an entire bottle of whiskey.
Would you blame him? Oddly enough, journal-wise, if we're doing more comparisons to the episode, I kind of like Bernice trying to do that to get to know what she's in, because she's got a little device that tells her tells her all the history of that thing, so she's not too out of place. But I kind of like the dream thing as well.
Both Jones are very similar as well.
The honest truth is the only difference between the Jones is Jones in the book gets way more page time. And for those who love the romance in the show, he proposes to her. Oh, that makes the departure really bitter.
Yeah.
Because Smith actually dies. The Doctor transfers the Smith bit into one of the family, and he dies. Oh, we haven't mentioned the family!
Oh,
The
God.
best villains in the wild.
As an evil group of space aliens who just want to devour people to gain their genetic powers and take over the universe, they're surprisingly emotional when it comes to their own deaths. In fact, they grieve profusely at their fallen comrades while eating them.
Honestly, I like it. I never got that with the Family of Blood, that they were a family. These lot do mourn in a very alien way and have their own family hijinks. One of my favourite parts is when they're besieging the school and Green Eye says they have this place surrounded, only to look and see the rest of the family right next to him.
Also, the family are more badass in the book. After learning their daughter was killed in the school, they don't take any shit. They nuke it. The entire building, turning it to glass.
And if you're wondering why there were no outside help in the episode, that's a plot hole. In the book, they've sealed off most of the town.
With a strange force field that shows you your own death. Most likely from you going mad from merely seeing your own death.
The only one immune?
Timmy!
Okay, with 10, I kinda got there was a fury there. With 7, oh shit. Book 7 is a goddamn manipulator.
Throughout his book adventures, what we never learnt in the show is he wants to be the eternal lord of putting things right throughout the universe. He becomes champion of time herself, going through time, putting right what once went wrong. And as much as that sounds like Quantum Leap, it's far, far darker. He allows people to die. He rewrites reality simply so he can put right things, in his opinion, that went wrong. Whether this be Second World War, Silurians taking over Earth, or even one of his companions having a happily ever after. He doesn't care. He can't. He has to do what is right, not what he wants.
And remember, this is the guy who started off like this.
The ending, much like the TV episode ending, is a feels expressed directly to the heart. It cuts forward to 1995, where we see the elderly Timmy as the last surviving member of the regiment from World War I. Now, where the TV episode gets it wrong is Timmy wears a white poppy instead of the red, the more traditional remembrance poppy. I know it's a small thing, but it's kind of a historical point.
He also says something very familiar to those who have actually seen the Day of the Doctor episode.
Never cruel or cowardly.
Oh god, that line was also in Curse of Fatal Death, wasn't it?
Yes.
Does Moffat just really love using that line?
Either that or Curse of Fatal Death is canon. To sum up, this is one of the strongest Doctor Who books there is. I highly recommend getting it, especially since it's a part of the history collection. It is leagues above the episode. The episode's good, but this is even better. Eat it, devour it, get it. Your thoughts?
I completely agree with him. Read it. And also, if you really like that one in the history collection, the 6th Doctor one is even better, where Colin Baker and the Brigadier team up against Hitler and his son.
Shadow of Glass. Go get it. Get it, I order you. And I shall see you later. Thank you for joining me, Terry.
That's perfectly fine. Goodbye now.